But I want it for me too. I had other choices. This is what I wanted. I just have to watch as they destroy what I wanted.
Imagine if I told you Robyn's so-called selfless personality is actually anything but. Buckle up, because what she actually said will blow your mind. We've got a lot to get into, so let's jump right in and get straight to the truth. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Reality Check, where we strip away the layers and make it all bare. Today's topic? The family soap opera that always seems to lead back to Robyn and her Poor Me show. Now, I've got to ask, why does Robyn always seem to insert herself into the center of every emotional storm? It's like she's allergic to not being the victim. Meanwhile, Christine? She's stayed classy, composed, and quiet, for now. But can someone get this woman a book deal already? Better yet, co-written with Isabel and Gwendolyn. That duo would end careers and hit bestseller lists in a heartbeat. Just think of it. Isabel's sweetness balancing out Gwen's brutally honest observations? Unmatched. Isabel might still be courteous to Robyn in public, for she does possess a gentle heart. But Gwen? Gwen doesn't pull any punches, and thank goodness for that. Let's be real, though. When Christine was young, most of her daughters were just fine with Robyn's kids. Well, maybe because they were roughly the same age and weren't taking sides. But let's not expect any public joshing from Christine. She's just too ladylike for it. Peyton could sure comment on it, but come on. He carries a little too much Kody light for me to fully believe his opinion. And Garrison and Gabriel? They've seen. Gabe, particularly, isn't a triplet, but is close enough to the craziness to write a book of memoirs that would shake the pillars. And when Truly turns 18, envision a tell-all with Gwen. Just shut up and hand over my cash. Discuss drama, however. Let's get to Robyn's constant confusion. Why don't people like me? Well, maybe start by looking in the mirror for a long, hard stare, and not just to wax your eyebrows. Her eyebrow-over-tweezed look of sorrow from the early 2000s is pitiful enough, but the real problem? The emotional manipulation behind the tears. Take that terrible moment with Mary, for example. Robyn did not offer comfort. She offered guilt. Yes, your life is horrible, but could you just hang on a minute longer so I can keep pretending that we're one big happy family? That was the mood. Kody's out here mourning Christine like she passed away, but couldn't muster 1 minute of feeling for Mary, the woman he publicly discarded. Let's not sugarcoat this. Robyn and Mary sat in silence, acting as if Christine's departure just happened to them. No introspection, no accountability. No one asked Christine how she was feeling or what she needed. Not Kody, not Mary, not Robyn. Just silence. Christine, who always was there, gave and gave and gave bridges for that family to stand on, and she never received anything in return. When finally she left, Kody acted as if she had betrayed him, because apparently playing games now entails requesting emotional support. And Robyn? She pulled her usual card, the innocent peacemaker. She wants love and harmony, surely, but only if she's at the center of it. Her tears always flow freely when the focus shifts away from her, not when other individuals are in pain. Pure classic Robyn. And don't forget the infamous pity story. Nobody else wanted me. Oh, come on? You were jobless and single, deep in debt, and already had a nanny. And you were the only legal wife and still made that sound like a tragedy. Her first marriage was also polygamous, by the way. Now she alone has her dream, wailing because Christine ruined it. Christine left with courage, wisdom, and self-dignity. Robyn was left behind clinging to fantasy and keeping her eyes shut to the wreckage. And for those who are still giving Robyn and Kody the benefit of the doubt? You might have to re-watch that wedding episode. No solo photos for Robyn. Shudder, right? Meanwhile, Christine over here raising children, building relationships, keeping it all together. And Robyn was complaining about bad lighting on her wedding day. Let's just be honest about it. Narcissism. Plain and simple. Ever wonder why some people can walk away from abusive relationships, but others are informed they must stay and quietly suffer? Robyn, you had every reason in the world to stay in your first marriage. Children, family, history, and you walked away. So why is it so unacceptable for Christine to do the same? Robyn's reply: Christine leaving ruined my fantasy. It hurt my children. This is all about me. That never-ending me just does not abate. And the cherry on top? Robyn and Mary never called out to Christine with even one genuine question. No call, no message, nothing. Just passive-aggressive taped interviews, presenting Christine as the villain in a story they never cared to understand. Meanwhile, Janelle stood alongside Christine, not because it was easy, but because it was the right thing to do. She was able to see the truth and didn't try to spin it into some sort of personal attack. Genuinely, if I had to handle the emotional gymnastics that Christine endured, I'd walk too. And Mary? Acting like she didn't get the call from Christine to cry on her shoulder? Recall when Christine cried, thinking Kody was hers, and then Mary giggled. Just when Christine was thinking she might really be heard, raising the hope of returning to Utah, Kody blindsided her in public. The betrayal wasn't just public, it was personal. You could see it on her face. And yet, instead of standing up for her, the rest of them just sat back and gossiped behind her. It didn't stop there. Robyn, always with a tear and an over-emotional line at the ready, maintained that Christine's decision somehow killed her family picture. But let's be realistic. Robyn didn't lose half the portrait. She cut Christine and her children out of the picture entirely and redrew the picture featuring only herself and her children included in the picture frame. And when Christine's kids stood by their mother, Robyn implied they must be missing the full story, like they couldn't possibly understand unless they were told her version. Conveniently, we've never once heard the full truth about Robyn's own messy first marriage. The kids? They've lived it. They've seen the show. They know who's been real and who's been rewriting history. Christine has gone a long way to be considerate, especially in relation to Kody's relationship with the children. Look at Isabel this evening. Her poise speaks volumes. But for crying out loud, whenever Kody and Robyn start talking, you almost have to turn off the TV to avoid an aneurysm. Try it. Observe their over-the-top expressions and melodramatic gestures on mute. It's pure hysterics. Robyn manipulates Kody, yes, but she manipulates her children too, telling them, for instance, that so-and-so didn't come by because they're more interested in someone else. That's not only toxic parenting, that's gaslighting 101. And she's doing it on TV. Does she not know these kids are experiencing this and watching the reruns? And then there is that notorious nanny situation. Robyn is home full-time now. The kids are aging. So, why the nanny? Particularly when there are older sister wives and siblings on hand who could lend a hand. Just what is this nanny's role, other than allowing Robyn to have even more free time and deniability? Robyn says she knows Mary requires her to be happy, but cannot comprehend why Christine would want the same. How does this add up? Robyn did not blink at walking out of her previous marriage when she was unhappy. But when Christine explodes, suddenly it's a family crisis. Maybe Christine didn't leave. Maybe she was psychologically abandoned years ago. And as a result, Robyn is threatened because Christine walking away threatens Robyn's cozy setup, the big house, the shopping trips, the status of being Kody's favorite. Now she may actually have to interact, parent, or shiver, cook. And then there are the whispers. Rumors of money issues, of booze, of anything. You know, nothing's been established. But Robyn's entire kingdom was built on the idea that everyone else must suffer so she can continue to live in comfort. She acts like she had two choices, her abusive boyfriend or Kody, but manages to forget she chose to stay in the circle. She didn't leave polygamy, she simply chose a different husband in it. And that's why she clings to the Browns like a life raft. Who she is, what she's about, what she does if all of that would cease to exist without this family. Robyn, the eternal victim. Just like Kody, it's never anything but what they want, what their kids need. And yet she packages it in an envelope of created sister-wife humility. Let's get real. She assisted in burning this family to the ground and then stood in the ashes pretending to be relaxed. Kody and Robyn were supposed to end up together, and now they're stuck together. Enjoy the reality you created. Now, let's talk about Janelle. There's this illusion floating around that her living in the camper was some sort of master financial move. But what if I said that she spent over $150,000 just to not buy Christine's house? Think about it. Buying Christine's land would have been the rational, economized choice during a period of transition. On no account, however. Janelle liked staying on Coyote Pass to raise hell about development. Is it grand? Maybe. Fiscally prudent? No. She bought a new fifth wheel and a truck to haul it bleeding money on a depreciating asset that instantly lost its value. Used camper? Number hiring movers instead? No again. She instead spent her money chasing a dream that, in all honesty, wasn't finished yet. Meanwhile, Christine's property went for over $700,000. That's cold, hard cash. But everybody still acts as though Janelle gave up something. Noble. She actually invested in a Mirage, while Christine traded shrewdly. And let's be clear, this isn't some old, rusted-out RV we're talking about. That camper? It was luxury. Janelle didn't just rough it. She tried to prove a point, one that came with a steep price tag and a questionable return. Now let's talk about that camper. People love to spin this narrative that Janelle was roughing it, living out of a trailer like it was a downgrade from the Vegas lifestyle. But let's be real. This wasn't some back-of-the-lot pop-up camper. It was practically luxury on wheels. We're talking multiple bathrooms, separate living and sleeping quarters, and plenty of room for two people and a couple of dogs. Autonomy, liberty, and a direct relationship to the land they'd been plotting on for years. Less struggle bus and more deluxe defiance. But then here's where it gets hazy. Financially, it doesn't make sense. The Browns never made the most of their Vegas properties. They didn't borrow against equity or roll those properties into paying off Coyote Pass. They let balloon payments hang over their heads like a storm cloud instead. Those menacing mortgage payment due dates. That's probably what drove them into crisis in the first place. The business transactions? Baffling. The balloon payment on Coyote Pass was due March 2023. If they didn't pay it off, all that land, all that dream melts away. Back to the former owner. Poof. Janelle encouraged Kody to take a shot, to be bold. But it seemed he was halfway out the door already. The land can't even be developed until it's paid off or until property lines are redrawn, something that Kody's dragging his feet on. Meanwhile, Kody and Robyn are out here buying a massive house. So, you're telling me they couldn't pool money to secure family land, but they had cash for a brand new luxury home? That doesn't scream commitment to the dream. That screams, we're done pretending. And that truck? Let's cut through the nonsense. It wasn't bought for the camper. It was Kody's emotional buy. It belonged to his late brother. But that didn't discourage them from spin-doctoring it into a tale of supporting Janelle's land-living venture. It was actually an independent, emotional buy, not part of some clever scheme to support. Eventually, Janelle moved off the land, first to an apartment, then in with Garrison. The camper? It's sitting in storage like a museum piece for a dream that never came true. Her bold stand build now or I'm gone didn't spark change. It just revealed the cracks that were already splitting the family apart. And maybe, just maybe, Janelle always knew she was on her way out. Now, let's switch gears. Tired of the faking perfect family narrative? Good. Because we're peeling back the veneer and going into the real hell behind Robyn and Kody's polygamy fantasy. Robyn's worst fear? Not Kody finding some younger, more attractive new wife. That was the fairy tale she sold to everyone else. Her actual horror? Being the only wife. Imagine it. Mary and Janelle broken up and it's just Robyn and Kody. Stuck in an old-fashioned marriage. All alone. No distraction. No buffer. Kody 24/7. Now she's not the good wife. She's by herself now, so she gets all of Kody's wrath, straight and direct. No more channeling the wrath towards the other wives. No more playing games of the mind in backroom politics. Behind closed doors, you get that rage doesn't go away. And now it's hers to deal with, firsthand. This is the man who has screamed, yelled, and emotionally manipulated every other wife on TV. You actually expect it to end when the cameras are turned off and it's only Robyn and the kids in that ginormous, echoey house. Nope. She is not intimidated by a new bride. She is intimidated by being alone, by being afraid that if she is no longer surrounded by the other wives to share the financial and emotional load, the whole system collapses. Because guess who was footing the bill for the nannies? The lifestyle? All of the trappings of her perfect plural marriage? It wasn't Kody alone. That dream was financed by the other women. And now? Now there's just the two of us. Kody going further down the edge, redrawing boundaries, fretting over shedding logs like it's his full-time occupation. He's not building, he's destroying. And Robyn has front-row seats to the breakdown. The truth is, Robyn's done this before. She's had to be the only wife. Twice. She knows how to keep Kody in check when she's the only one in the room. But this is different. This time there's no fallback, no smokescreen, no sister wives to blame it on. And Kody? He's more and more to deal with every day. That's the trick. Robyn isn't scared because she's getting yelled at. She's scared because the illusion is broken. The privileges are disappearing. And without Mary, Janelle, and even Christine chipping in with money, who's covering for it? Because, spoiler alert, it's probably not Kody. And here's the kicker. Kody himself has all but admitted that polygamy was a mistake. Let's be real. If it were up to him, he'd be perfectly happy with just Robyn, his so-called soulmate. So now we've got to ask, is Robyn still clinging to the big, happy, plural family fantasy for appearances? Or is she terrified of losing the very thing that bonded her to Kody in the first place? Because here's the uncomfortable reality. Their relationship is fueled by tearing down the other wives. That's how they speak. That's the adhesive. But now, it looks an awful lot more like a monogamous marriage, just without the peace. And Kody? His rage hasn't softened. It's grown stronger. And with fewer options to destroy, guess who's next on the firing line? That's right, Robyn. Bask in that spotlight, girl, because the heat's only getting hotter. And don't forget the elephant in the room, the show. Christine's gone, and Janelle's checked out, and tomorrow TLC could simply cancel or change in an entirely different direction. Robyn is keenly aware of this. That paycheck, that lifestyle, the nanny's wages, all on the line as long as the cameras keep rolling. So don't be fooled by the tearful family values speeches. Robyn has done everything in her power to make her kids and herself the favorites. Connecting with the family? Only if it's then followed up by a virtue-signaling rant. Kody sharing? Not part of her vocabulary since they wound up in Vegas. In all fairness, she likes to keep Kody all to herself. Not the polygamy, just the perks. Some people claim she's the mastermind behind this scheme. Bad actress, but top-tier scammer. Never worked a day in her life. Has herself a nanny so she doesn't have to. And somehow she's still the victim? Make it work. In the meantime, Kody's out here grasping at delusions of future wives like they're about to materialize in a gun show booth, bat their eyelashes into his fantasy, and rescue the kingdom. Someone might be that desperate, who knows? But at this point, it's more soap opera than sister wives. So, the truth is, Robyn is not afraid of loneliness. She's afraid of losing control, losing money, losing being favorite wife, because without Mary, Janelle, and Christine, she's not married to a plural family. She's just another woman married to a cranky guy and no paycheck. Gasp. She might actually have to work for a living. Heaven forbid. So yeah, karma's coming, but Robyn's playing the long con, playing games, whining, keeping everyone just unhappy enough to stick around. And we, my friends, get front row seats to the destruction. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking. Was it power for Robyn the whole time? Or is she stuck as much as everyone else? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want more deep dives on this wild saga. Be kind to yourselves, and huge love to all of you who peek behind the curtain.